Hello again. Now I'm going to talk about diversify your portfolio. Your stock portfolio in particular. Many people want the high yielding stocks, and that's great. But are they all REITs, real estate investment trusts, business development corporations? What are they? If all you have is REITs, you need to diversify into business development corporations. If all you have is business development corporations, you need to add a few REITs. You need to have a diverse, like BG. I have BG Foods. That's a low yielding stock, about 5 or 6 or 7%, whatever it is. I have that because I believe in the company. It's a food company. Kraft, among others, have too low of a yield. I looked at Coca-Cola. Every year they want to raise their dividend a little bit. They're not 5%. I want to diversify into Coca-Cola because the yield is too low. But I don't mind diversifying into BG Foods because their yield is within acceptable parameters. At least 5%. If your stocks give you 14%, 12%, 22%, I have 3 different stocks that give me like 22%. A closed-end fund, I believe it was CLM or CFR is like 19%. As I'm uploading this, CLM is like 22%. My other 22% stocks were ORC and ARR. ORC is Orchard Island Capital. ARR is Arbor Realty. You have to have a diversity of different stocks. I have right now 42 different positions. I'm looking at IEP right now. IEP is Icon Enterprises. Limited partnership. They call them units instead of shares. He's got a yield that's pretty good. His yield is usually pretty good. Right now his stock has tanked. For equity investors, that might be something to look at, whether they're going to rebound or not. But for me, I like the yield. I haven't yet purchased any IEP. He's got multiple. He's into several different businesses. I'm not going to go over them right now. You can go, if you want to find out about Icon Enterprises, you could go IEP space stock, and then his business will come up, and several different companies will talk about him. Whether it's different financials will come up and talk about what he does. I like IEP. I haven't invested yet, but he's a businessman. He's got several different branches of what he puts into. So look up IEP. This is not an endorsement of IEP. I haven't bought a single share of IEP. If I talk about Energy Transfer, I think I have shares in ET. If I talk about ORC, I have shares in ORC. I have shares in my Fidelity account, not the Vanguard. My Fidelity account is the one I've been looking at most of the time. So yeah, I have 2 brokers, one that's Vanguard and one that's Fidelity. I used to have more money in Vanguard than Fidelity, and then I scoped it out, and I decided that I liked the idea of Fidelity charging me less for a covered call than Vanguard. They're too expensive for me. If they're not too expensive for you, go for it. Some people like Charles Schwab to do their covered calls. I talked to a person, used to be my landlord. He had made 1% a month on covered calls for Petco, I think it was. I'm not sure. But there are a lot of different things, but don't get 100% in anything. Covered calls is a different way to make money. If you own 100 shares of a stock, okay, dividend or otherwise, you have 100 shares. You can sell the right to purchase that stock by a future date if it hits a particular price. So if it's at $8 and you sell a call for $11, that's $3 higher than it is now. So they'll pay you, whether it's $5 or $12 or whatever the cover is, whatever they pay you, that's your premium. You got to keep that. And the premium, okay, and then if the price goes up to $10, your equity improved from 8 to 10, but they can't buy the stock. But if it hits 11 or 12, if it hits 12 and they buy it for 11, you lose $1 of equity, but you still get the, well, if it's 8, 9, 10, 11, you get $300 additional to what you had. So you're up $300 from the equity position that you had of $8, and it goes up to 11, you pay $300. But you lose out on that other $100 if it went up to 12. But the reason, what I'm talking about is diversity. You want to diversify into covered calls. You want to diversify into dividends. And you want to diversify. And yeah, some people want that equity position to go up. I'm not looking at equity. But diversity is a good thing. So diversify your portfolio. Make sure that all your portfolio is not one kind of stock. Make sure that you have different kinds of stock. And you have a nice day. Diversity, diversity, diversity.